Hello, and welcome back to our regularly scheduled programme of the 80s Cinema Club.
Yep,
we have no guests after Lewis being here and plaguing us for... being a joy here for 3 weeks.
Across from me is so empty.
And we have to apologise for lying to you all. Because at the end of last episode, we said we were doing Dracula, Prince of Darkness, and that's just me being stupid.
Yeah.
Because I don't read titles. That's a 1960s film. We are doing Prince of Darkness.
Yep.
Totally different. Has nothing to do with Dracula, actually.
It would be so much better if it did, though, I guess.
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe.
But yes, we are back with a non... What was I going to say? Non-guest episode, non-serialized. Like, there's not three. We're not doing 3 in a row.
I would not want to do
it. Yeah, I think we're not going to do that.
No, this is probably going to be one of the more
stick to what we know.
Episodes.
So this week we are doing Prince of Darkness from 1987. It is a horror film. Yeah.
I like how you said that almost with the air quotes.
Yeah.
Horror film.
I can't think of any other genres it would have in it. Maybe mystery.
Religious.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
It's got priest
sacrilegious.
Sacrilegious. Sci-fi.
I guess you could
go
down that road.
Probably argue that, but it's not really done very well.
It was directed by John Carpenter, and get ready for this list of starring. It stars Donald Pleasance as the priest, Lisa Blount as Catherine, Jameson Parker as Brian, Victor Wong as Professor Barack, Dennis Dunn as Walter, Susan Blanchard as Kelly, not Kenny.
Oh, you nearly got that.
Anne-Marie Howard as Susan, Anne Yen as Lisa, Ken Wright as Lomax,
just keeps going.
Dirk Blocker as Mullins, Peter Jason as Dr. Lee, and Robert Grasmere as Frank. There was a few other people, but I'm not including them because that would be way too long.
Yeah, it's such a long cast list, isn't it?
The plot is as follows. A sinister secret has been kept in the basement of an abandoned Los Angeles church for many years, with the death of a priest belonging to a mysterious sleeping cult, this says.
Oh, I don't know if it's really a sleeping cult.
it was... They were called something like the Brothers of Sleep or something, I can't remember.
Fair enough.
Another priest opened the doors to the basement and discovers a vat containing a green liquid. The priest contacts a group of physics graduate students to investigate it. Unfortunately, they discover that the liquid contains the essence of Satan himself, and they also discover that he will release his father, an all-powerful anti-god, to the world. The liquid later comes to life itself, turning some of the students into zombie-like characters as the devil comes forward to release his father.
Yeah.
If that sounded like a brain fuck to you, watch the film.
Because it really is. The plot is so over. I can't even think of the words.
It had a budget of $3 million US.
Please.
It was made independently by John Carpenter.
I think I'd read
because
that. He got sick of working with studios.
How much do you think it made, Alfie?
$9. I mean, that's...
It was technically a success, but
really?
Not as much of a success as maybe other films.
Okay.
It was $14.2 million.
How did it make money?
Probably because it was John Carpenter.
That's fair.
And it was like, the father of Halloween, gotta go see this. And other films.
I just watched The Thing.
Yeah.
He made The Thing and then this. And
which was even worse off than this.
God,
and that was a good film.
That was a good film.
Why did... We've got it all wrong here.
It's so dumb, isn't it?
It is the second film in the unofficial John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy.
It's a 90s one's the last one.
Which is the 90s one, which I can't remember what it's called, but The Thing is the first one. So yeah, let's get into this steaming pile of shit. Likes and dislikes, Alfie.
Indeed.
Do you have any likes?
Let me just scroll through my notes and try and find something that's slightly positive. I'm just seeing dislikes. What was his name? I can't remember. I won't go with that one then. Jesus, I genuinely don't have anything that's like remotely good. I guess they had lots of ants.
Is that a positive?
I don't know. It's the first thing I saw that wasn't like, this is shit. Yeah.
First thing to stand out for me is John Carpenter composes the music as he does in most of his films, like Halloween and stuff, and that is, I think, still really good.
Yeah, the score definitely is good.
It does it still does the job of building the tension and, I don't know, making an atmosphere for the character. I think the atmosphere was actually created quite well with the music. It's just everything that piled on top of that didn't go. So it was like the music was kind of outdoing the film.
It definitely was, wasn't it?
It's like it wasn't good enough to be there, even though John Carpenter also directed it. It really felt weak to what previous things he's done.
It really was, because like again, like we talked about the score, the thing that worked really well, and then combined with everything else, create this really good atmosphere and low burning, almost tension and suspense throughout the film. This just it feels like John Carpenter sort of went, how many things can I cram into one film and just put it out there?
I think other things to like point out is it mainly is the acting and the pacing and things that aren't very good, because the score is good, and I also think the effects are pretty good. So
they're not too bad actually. It's true.
I cannot remember when Satan possesses one of them and takes their organic body or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah.
And then the priest chops her head off. And then she puts the head back on and stuff. Like, that's really good. I really like the effects.
I didn't mind that.
And the effects with the outside with all the bugs crawling over and he like dissolves.
Yeah, the beetle guy.
Yeah,
Frank,
like
I think it was.
That's also, I think, really good. So the effects stand out. And I mean, the essence of Satan itself is like really good. Because it looks really convincing. Honestly, it looks like water / smoke / whatever. It's really weird.
That didn't look too bad.
Looks like quite convincing and things like that. I think for the budget, and it was an independent, I mean, he had a lot of money, so it's like doesn't really matter that it wasn't with a studio, but for the things they achieved, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Skipping here, I thought the end was actually all right. So it's the fake out dream ending.
Classic John Carpenter thing of leaving the film unambiguously ended.
But I like that.
Ambiguously.
See, that I don't mind. I mean, not when it's like a certain type of film, but if it's a horror film like that, especially when it's his Apocalypse trilogy, it's like hinting the fact it's not over, or it like something still could happen.
That is true.
Because it's Brian, I think his name was, wasn't it? One of the main
Probably.
dudes.
There's so many characters.
They were so uninteresting. I just forgot them.
Yeah, there's no personality behind them.
Brian, he's in bed and he's dreaming, and he dreams about. He has the dream again, but this time it's with Catherine in it, because she went through the mirror into the devil realm or whatever.
Whatever it is.
This just if this sounds really weird,
like the dark side or something we called it.
That's genuinely things that happen.
So many weird things happen in this film. It made no sense.
He has that dream, then he wakes up and she's there, isn't he? Like dead next to her, but it's like him dreaming again, and then he goes to touch the mirror.
Like he's really slowly puts his hands and just as about touch.
It goes to black screen.
That was well done. I agree.
It is. I like that when they do it with horror films, because you leave with a sense of this, like if this was real, you'd be scared. I mean, what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, if a woman's flesh was like dripping off her body as she's laying there dying.
Like you're given something that you're gonna play over in your mind now, like the thing you don't know that it's over, or if it's over or not.
Exactly,
so obviously nothing actually ever happens in that world ever again, because it was just a film.
No,
but in your brain, you're like, oh, what happens after that?
Yeah. You're never gonna look at a mirror the same.
Yeah,
everyone goes to touch a mirror. Face of black.
Hey Harry, why is there like fingerprints all over this mirror?
Just making sure.
I was just making sure it wasn't a portal to the devil realm.
Yeah. One day you put your hand to the mirror and a giant red clawed hand comes out and grabs it.
Mr. Krabs.
Jesus. One thing I did put down that wasn't too bad is Calder's laugh is so creepy in that last half of the film that is actually pretty good.
Is that the guy who's like sings and looks at himself in the mirror with the priest?
Yeah. When he stabs himself through the throat, so then can't speak for the rest of his film.
I
also
don't. I wonder if it was for budget reasons, right? Why he bandaged himself up?
Probably, yeah. So
I think it was because they didn't want to have the effect on show for the entire time, because he's already dead. They showed that with Cullens or whatever it was, downstairs when he got his neck snapped.
Yeah.
And then the water dribbled on him, and then he came back to life as one of the zombie things. So I literally think they did that for budget reasons, and not having the effect on the entire the prosthetic that they probably use, not having
like
it on
a visible
the entire
wound
time.
on his throat.
Yeah, because usually when they make those things, they like pump blood through them, and they can't have someone walking behind him the entire time,
that.
Just pumping blood through the cast.
I mean, as well, that probably makes sense as to why when Frank was being eaten alive, well, not eaten alive, but almost infested and gnawed at by the beetles, dissolved, that it was completely dark outside. You didn't have to see the workings of it all. You could just see like the rough shape of Frank.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes more sense now. Actually.
Yeah. And there was only one character I liked this entire film, and that was Walter.
Yeah, the comic relief character.
MVP of the entire film.
It's hilarious when the comic relief character was the only one who had personality in the entire film.
One of my complaints is none of them, they didn't have any, like, usually if you're going to, it wasn't a slasher film, right? But if you have a slasher film, right, so a horror film, and it's going to be like a really, like, we're going to go kill some people in this horror film, they're usually like one-note character traits. Like you usually have, like, I don't know, like a teenage girl who, you know, has a boyfriend or something, and the boyfriend's
like
coming over, and the boyfriend's like an American football player, and he's like
the jock.
And then there's like, you know,
the
nerd character, and then, you know, there might be another couple,
guy.
or there's like, there's a creepy guy.
Yeah, you've got
and,
like,
you know, or then there's just some friends that are dotted about that aren't really because they just get killed. But nobody had a personality except Walter. The only person who kind of came close, I think her name was Lisa. You know, the one who did all the typing. I thought she had a bit, I don't know, I think it was the way the actress was quite good in just kind of portraying the emotion on her face more than like acting it out.
The rest of them were just like, they were all scientists. They were essentially all the same personality.
Yeah,
and when there was the scene stood around with them talking were just so boring because there was nothing going on. It was just a bunch of people who you knew nothing about because nothing had been told to you. 2
Walter quotes here I'd like to read out.
All right.
There was quite a lot more, but I couldn't be bothered writing every single one of them down.
Fair.
The 2 I got were when Kelly has the bruise on her arm that then turns into the sorcerer's staff. That is. See what I mean, guys?
So many weird things.
He says, I used to break out when I was 12. The doctors said it was homosexual panic.
I like that line.
And he just walks up after that.
Completely casually leaves.
And the third one is when he's getting, he discovers that Susan and Lisa have been, you know, dribbled on by the water.
The Jewish
and he gets back into the car. He just goes, normally I love being dominated by women.
Oh, right.
And then moves into. But they're just so like out of nowhere, and like they feel out of place for the film. But also,
they really do.
That's why I really liked them, because there was nothing else going on.
Oh no, it was the only semblance of interest and stuff that happened, wasn't it? Really.
I feel like we should go officially into the dislikes now.
Oh right,
since
okay.
we've already touched
essentially
it, because
started
it's really hard not to.
The pacing. What? 10 minutes. Like I said to Harry before we started filming, I think the final credit comes up 10 minutes through the film.
I think I worked it out to be around 10 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So it does like your opening things, like John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. And then like it does like a minute of scene. And then it shows like a couple seconds of like black screen with credits on. But it's really annoying. I literally just put the stupid intercutting credits when you're trying to like look at these characters you've never seen before and like try and understand what's going on. What they should have done if they wanted to do that is that whole bit before the like they played the last credit should have just been one thing, and then they should have done an opening credit sequence.
Yeah, honestly,
like other films do. Like, then you have the title card, and you have the opening credits.
And then we go back
after being introduced to these characters slightly, and then it kind of goes on to everyone else. It feels... I mean, I get what it was trying to do. It was trying to be, like, showing you different things that were going on, show you some credits, then cut back to something different. Yeah. But it felt, I don't know... Sometimes it's really okay weird, to be lazy and just put them all in at once. You don't need to make, like, an artistic thing out of it.
And it really didn't work in this.
Yeah, and it really didn't work.
And the fact that, again, the story doesn't really kick off up until about 40 minutes through and things really start up. And then it peaks for a little bit. It's just start getting the idea that actually they're trapped here and that essentially the fluid's taken over. Fluid's taken over Susan. But then it just drops down and nothing really interesting happens again until towards the end of the film.
No, it's literally like
it all happens in 10 minutes.
I checked when basically they broke out of the room they were hiding in and started hitting people. It was like 7 minutes before the film ended.
There was like barely any time.
I don't know if films you're supposed to have a climactic ending usually. Oh, yeah. Like, you know, like a big thing that happens at the end. Like, you know, in a superhero movie, it's a sky beam usually.
Yeah. But, something big.
Yeah. It didn't have that. And I mean, some films don't have to have that, but it's the way that nothing in the film felt like it was going anywhere. The entire film felt like a build-up and then nothing was built up to.
Exactly, yeah. It felt like I think the film narratively and pacing-wise would have done a lot better if the whole thing with Kelly trying to bring back Satan happened a lot earlier, and it was like a slow burn towards the end, rather than essentially it's starting to happen and then immediately getting stopped. It's like, right, this big thing that was being built up to finish in the 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all
it's
right,
because some of these problems may have been a bit better if any of the characters had like personality.
Oh god, yeah.
Because they try to push off a thing with Brian and Catherine.
I didn't even know that was a name, I'll be honest.
I'm pretty sure that's a name. I hope it is. It's
think.
insinuated that they are like having like a casual sexual relationship, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they're talking about getting coffee, but it's not getting coffee because she's like, oh, maybe next time or whatever.
Your woman voice is amazing.
Because I think she's just wanting to like keep it simple. But they're like supposed to be like the love story in this.
Yeah.
With it coming to the end, when they're stuck in the room together, going like, oh, what was that you wanted to say to me? Blah, 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 and they have a little kiss, and it's like, oh, this is really... It's not.
Yeah.
Because who invested in those characters?
Because you don't get to know anything about either of them, so it's really hard to...
There was nothing to like push them together, except that they were literally in the same class, and it was like said that they were having a casual relationship.
Yeah, and even then, nothing develops between them throughout the entire time they're trapped within this place.
Yeah,
the one major piece of dialogue they have is that one right there.
They hardly talk to each other.
Yeah,
I think the biggest couple we got was Walter and
Lisa.
And Lisa.
And she fucking hated him.
Yeah, I know. At least they had some sort of emotion towards each other that you could see. It was just him being slightly creepy but funny, and her just being not wanting any of it.
It was very again, it felt like there was a distinct lack of dialogue throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Almost as if they wanted the tension to build because no one was saying anything, but there wasn't enough to build anyway.
Yeah, it basically, they had boring. Dumb characters, basically. They all these dull and dumb characters.
Who are supposed to be really good scientists.
And then Donald Pleasant, who plays the priest, because he doesn't have a name.
He's actually Satan. Plot twist.
He's just there for some sort of exposition dump.
Oh, yeah.
Because... literally, like, he just has his conversations with Professor Barack, every now and then. And every time he just comes up with a new thing. Oh, God. He's like, by the way, these dreams that you have are like, everyone has the same dream if you're going to be living by the ooze.
Yeah.
And it's like...
so he has some term for it, doesn't he?
I can't... Well, it's a premonition, I think he calls it in the end.
Yeah, I think it might be, actually.
But... it's just so boring, and I really like if you watch Halloween with John Carpenter, Donald Pleasance has still a bit, like, it's a dumb film still because it's a slasher, but he has more of a personality, like he has a purpose to do something.
Yeah.
The priest is just a crybaby the entire film, and every time, like,
oh god,
yes, he chops the head off of this Satan thing,
and he banishes her in the end, but again, it's his character's so badly used throughout the whole film.
I know, yeah. And there's the really, like, they don't seem to have social skills in the film. So when Lisa goes to have a lie down in her bed,
yeah,
and then Susan is stood behind the door, and she crawls on top of her, and then dribbles on her. I don't know what
that sounds so bad. Vomits in her mouth.
Yeah, exactly, basically. But how does Lisa not instantly say something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get what other thing did, like, she crawls on
just
top
like,
of her.
oh.
Lisa's just kind of looking at her. She lets her get to head level after crawling up her entire bed. Then she goes, "Hi, can I have some blood?"
Yeah,
all
it's
over
a mouth
her.
filled with green slime.
I don't. Is it just me? With like anybody who you don't really know this person very well,
he's crawling on top.
They just start crawling on top of you. It's like you'd say something immediately.
I would have thought so. It's someone you've known for like maybe 3 hours is crawling on top of you. Like, no, this is fine.
Another little thing is
pretty weird.
When Brian goes searching for Mullins, who is the person Susan snapped the neck of down. He goes looking for him. I'm going to go search downstairs. He gets downstairs. He walks halfway up to the thing. Goes, oh, he's not here. Yeah. And then literally cuts to a shot of him lying on the floor, getting all the stuff dribbled in his mouth. Why didn't you go like 3 steps further? You could literally you wanted to make the effort to like say the characters were looking for the people.
Yeah.
But you didn't want them to find him because you didn't want to figure out what was happening yet. Because if he'd have found him, he'd be like, "Oh shit, someone's killing them. We need to do something." But no, you can't.
Oh,
he was like 2 meters away from him.
He's like, nah, I don't think
And he's not even hidden. He's very clearly behind them pieces of equipment. Brian just didn't walk past them.
He just walked down to the quick scan. Was like, no, I can't see anything.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
Jeez, I'm just lost for words really as to what to say.
Like, nobody seems to get help. So we know when Lisa's been possessed.
Yeah.
And she starts typing the like nobody will survive thing.
Yeah.
Or like you won't be spared.
I live.
And it's like you won't be spared or something.
Yeah.
And the what's his name? Like Clus something? What was the one who sings?
Calder.
Like when he looks and sees that she's typing all this stuff, he doesn't instantly go, Guys, Lisa's doing some weird shit over here. He literally just goes, what the? And then dies.
And then just walks up and gets tackled by Lisa and Susan and
You'd instantly,
becomes infected.
you would literally, people have said to you that this is the living embodiment of the devil, and you're walking into the room just thinking, nothing ever happened, everything's fine.
You can read on the screen saying, I live, you will never escape. And he's like, nah, she's just having that moment, you know?
I literally wrote down, I don't really feel anything while watching this.
No.
And I am quite an easy person to scare. And I was watching this film like, what is this?
I was falling asleep watching it.
What is going on?
It's so hard to enjoy because there's just nothing going on. It feels like you just sat there watching things happen. You're like, the images are just flowing over you. You're not taking anything in.
Because nothing happens. Because literally, when they're hiding in their rooms, they're in their rooms for like 20 minutes and nothing's going on. Yeah. It's just Walter going, guys, help. Guys, she's growing.
I love how Walter doesn't try and escape either.
I know.
Until
the last moment, he can pull away all them bricks. He's not escaping.
Yeah, look how much faster it went when Walter started digging and he actually managed to escape.
But everyone pretty much does nothing the entire film.
No.
The only effect they have on the film, any of the characters, is them being there so they can be zombified and possessed.
Pretty much, yeah.
They don't seem to have any other bearing on what happens. I don't understand why.
Genuinely, I just don't understand the idea. Oh, we can't forget though the first casualty of the film, who got stabbed by a homeless guy wielding half a bike, which is probably the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. This guy, he leaves at the end of essentially the first night. I think he's set up
the equipment for them, hasn't he?
Yeah, he set the equipment. He's going to go cover a lecture the next day. Goes out the back door. There's a homeless guy in the alleyway who's holding a bike, who he could probably quite easily walk around, kind of ignore, get on his way. But then he turns around, looks behind him, way up's blocked by a crowd of homeless people.
So instead of running somewhere...
Yeah, instead of running past the homeless guy, he just walks towards the guy
very slowly.
And then gets, the bike impaled through his chest, and he just stands there like...
What was supposed to happen?
It's just... I have no idea.
I put...
Such a weird thing.
The homeless man stabbing is... the one where I can't remember his name.
Frank, yeah.
He's
just stood there thinking...
And the homeless man runs up to him, holding a knife in the air or whatever, scissors, starts stabbing him. Do you know what I thought? I literally wrote down, it's played comedically.
It is, yeah.
Is that just me? The film isn't supposed to be funny at all, except for like the kind of, it's a comic relief you get from Walter. It's trying to be a serious film.
I know, that seems so
why is it okay, so I get the whole point of the show picture of the knife as it's raised up, because that's supposed to be like the thing, he's about to die now.
Yeah.
But it keeps doing it, and then it keeps going back to oh my god, he's killing me. He's like what is
it's just
it's so bad.
Raise the Titanic was better than this, and that says
like
something.
If they just stabbed him and they made it like, because it was brutal, like you could see the blood, the effect was decent, like it's the blood splashing from his back and stuff, you could see it coming out. I was like, that's quite impressive.
But just if it was done slightly differently.
But because it was cutting too much.
Yeah.
Like it didn't give us time enough to linger on the fact that he'd been stabbed until it showed us he was getting stabbed again, but it had already shown us that, so we didn't need to see it. But then it didn't give us enough time to realise he was being stabbed again before. It was just a really weird film.
It really was. I can't even anymore, if I'm honest. I just can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say really, except just why does the devil look so like Mr. Krabs' head?
It's an hour and
from SpongeBob.
42 minutes. I don't think I'll ever get back this.
Do you want to rate it then?
Yeah.
So Alfie, what have you rated this insanely good film that we have not hated on at all and we love so much?
The thing is, as we've been going through, I've been retrospectively lowering it as I've had more time to reflect. So now it's the lowest film I think I've rated anything. A 3.5 out of 10.
A 3.5 out of 10.
it was just painful.
Well, I mean,
What did you give it?
I'm going to one-up you there, Alfie.
Oh.
I'm giving the lowest ever rating given on the podcast
No
because
way.
I've given it a 2.
2.
It's
Honestly.
so shit. It's so shit.
This is so
I can't actually put
unbelievably
into
low.
words how much I didn't like this film. And
was
it's not that, like, the acting was necessarily bad. It's the fact that they just didn't act.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing...
It was just like they got people off the street and were like, do you mind being in the store?
Yeah, I
first?
know.
I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
So that leaves our
the overall?
lowest scored ever film on the 80 Cinema Club with a 2.8.
Ooh. I reckon we should retrospectively raise that to like a 10. Just to mess with the ratings.
Prince of Darkness, everyone. Please don't watch it.
Yeah, please just... I mean, for your own sake,
If
just
you
don't
haven't
waste
watched it already, there's no need to.
Don't worry. And if you're going to watch it, maybe like, I don't know, someone might have done a recap or like a summary on YouTube. If they've heard of it.
Play some happy music the entire time.
Oh yeah, read a book for like the first 40 minutes. Check on the screen, see if anything's happening. Then you go back to reading until the end.
While you watch it, put some Subway Surfers
Oh my
gameplay
god, yeah.
under. With
Maybe
that's a
some podcast
really
clips.
modern thing. Many people might not.
Yeah, given we've got such an old,
Yeah,
we've got an audience
They're not
based.
old.
Sorry, an audience
Make
based
sure there's
largely.
something. Make sure
in the
there's
30s.
something else with you to keep your attention.
Yeah, because this just will not work.
Yeah, don't watch this film.
Jesus. Questions.
That's 6 questions.
That
because
is usually
the
the amount we
amount
do.
we are going to ask.
I wish it was only one.
Since there's no guest this week, me and Alfie have obviously written each of the 3 questions. I will get none of them right because I never do. Alfie, you'll probably get all of them right because he always does.
I don't know. I feel like a brain's switching off.
Question 1, Alfie.
Right. So my question 1 is there's a little bit of a theme throughout most of these with the wording. So obviously there's an enormous cast, as we've said, and lots of them get infected or possessed. I couldn't quite figure out which word to word it. By the ooze. So who was the third person to be possessed by the Satan slime?
Wait, what?
Who was the third person to be possessed by the Satan slime? The Satan slime being the green, whizzy, whatever you want to call the stuff. It's really testing your memory here.
I know because
So many of them.
So we get these questions checked by usually by my sister.
All right.
Before the start of each podcast, and I think because we could have different answers here, but I think because of the way me and Alfie have both written the question very. I think we've done the same question.
Okay.
But done it, but
Slightly
worded it
differently.
very differently.
Okay. Right then.
So I'm gonna answer your question. Is it Mullins?
No.
Oh, so we have different answers to this question.
Yeah. Mine answers is Frank because we get Susan first. Mullins is infected not long after that by Susan. Well, obviously gets stripped on by Susan, and then you have Frank. Frank's is a bit tenuous because he's not.
This is the way I've done it.
All right. Okay.
Is Susan gets it sprayed on her by the tank,
by directly.
but she infects Lisa first,
Okay.
the typist, and
I
then
thought she got Mullins
and then
Lisa.
no, because Mullins is dead, but it's only after Brian
we
finds
never-
him that it dribbles on him from the thing. So I think it was Mullins who was
right.
third.
Okay.
Because the only time they see Brian is then when they figure out that other people. So basically, though, the question I wrote for you was, who is the third person to get dribbled on?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
It's very different.
yeah, Frank wasn't dribbled.
Why
on.
did we both pick the third person?
That's quite funny because I wrote out an order. My order going through was Susan, Mullins, because you're not directly seen when Mullins is completely gotten, but he is killed. Not
Well,
long
I
after.
thought it was Mullins was third,
Yeah,
just because
that's valid, honestly.
I
Because
think
he gets killed, then she going directly.
we
infects
may have
Lisa.
to scrap this question and just
Yeah.
give each other a point.
Let's just go for that. Honestly, it works easier.
I'll
Jesus,
just not give a
that's
point because
annoying.
the scores will stay the same anyway.
Right. So is it? It's back to me
So-
again, isn't it? Or is it? Do you want to do a question?
I'll do a question.
All
So my first question to you, or second
Let me
technically,
write that down.
is, you'll get this, what insect is swarming the dead Frank while
Oh.
he speaks to the group?
I'm pretty sure it's beetles.
Correct.
Perfect.
I think the exact species is a stink beetle.
As
But-
if you like looked at that, like, I believe it's a stink beetle. Wow.
Well, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There you go. Point to Alfie.
Okay.
My last. Well, no,
So
no,
this one's a little bit more on the weirder side wording wise.
Okay.
So obviously, when they all get there, they're all a bit like, why are we actually here? Because they've not actually been told.
Yes.
They're led down to the bottom and they find the massive container. They begin analysing it all. I don't know if you picked it up, but they talk about the carbon dating of it.
Yes.
So how old was the corrosion on the evil semen container?
I think I might know this.
Okay.
Do I get options? Or
This is just a...
Yeah, I thought so.
You just get it.
38 million years.
7 million.
7 million? It was not the... Why am I thinking
sure
38 million? Oh,
I'm like 90% sure it's 7 million.
Probably. I don't think... I mean, neither of them make sense. But
No, neither of them do. We're trying to make sense of a film that doesn't make sense.
You know what? I don't even care if I've got that right and you've got that wrong, or whoever's got what, because I don't care.
Let's just try and move on and forget about this film.
Last question, Alfie. What year was the dream message being transmitted from?
1999.
Otherwise known as 1999. And in what world in 1999 do we have brain dream transmitting tachyon technology?
Listen, 2015 Back to the Future had hoverboards. Never know.
1999 was 12 years away. What?
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with that. Right. Last question from me. So, towards the end of the film, we have Kelly infected or whatever, possessed again,
Yes.
reaching through the mirror. So, when this is a one I put a lot of effort into because I ran out of rhymes. When the Mademoiselle from Hell was reaching through the mirror at the film's end, what did the priest call her?
Ooh.
He refers to her as something, and then I tried to figure out what he said after, but
I think I'd turned off by this point in the film.
Fair enough, you know.
I think I was like, oh, she's gonna get her dad or whatever.
Oh, she's reaching through the mirror. Whoa.
Yeah, right. So what did he say?
What did he call her?
I mean, there's many things it could have been, really, considering he's a priest and he's already called it many things.
Yeah.
I think I do remember him saying something, but it's not going to stick in my brain here.
Come on, you can get this.
I won't, because I'm going to have to make something up that he definitely didn't say, because I have no idea.
Come on.
I don't know. You Jesus-hating bastard. I don't know what he said.
That would have been so much funnier. No, he says unclean spirit.
Oh, no, I got that.
Yeah.
Oh, my other one was going to be like, you dried up, pickle-looking...
From the priest who said nothing remotely interesting.
You dried up, pickle-looking, Satan-loving... bitch.
Oh, God.
Right, then, I guess this question is going to be answered in one sentence, sorry, not one word. What's the relevance of this film?
No. I think we can go
Exactly.
to the outro now.
I think that's it's no.
I hope so, because I just want to get over with this film, man.
Yeah, it was a
It's
bad
just
film.
no relevance.
No. I mean,
Aside
like,
from brain
if you look
transmission.
at, the only thing I can think of if you want to watch this is if you're doing a podcast, or you're either going through all of John Carpenter.
Right, so if anyone missed that, you know how in the film kinetic things are, there's like kinetic outpulses, it moves tables and moves fences.
Telekinesis.
Harry just did that, but fucking knocked a drink completely over like half of the table.
Yep, so there is no relevance to this film. Please don't
so
watch
much
it.
that Harry had to lash out in anger.
So much I had to lash out in anger.
That's it, thank God.
Thank God.
Literally, thank God for the fact you've never had to watch Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, be grateful.
What did we do wrong?
Yeah, we made a podcast about 80s films and then said we were going to review.
This is God punishing
Yeah,
us.
this is God punishing us.
I was like, no, you shouldn't have done that.
We hope you enjoyed this episode where we just shit all over the
Cried
Prince of
ourselves
Darkness.
a little bit, you know.
We're very sorry if you like this film. Actually, no, I'm not sorry.
If you do,
How
if you do
this
like
film?
it, let us know, because maybe we missed
Yeah.
like the actual good scenes of the film and watched like literally with them all cut out.
Maybe we watched the wrong version on Prime. And it was
Maybe,
just-
yeah.
I don't think.
Oh my God.
It's fine. This film isn't good.
It really isn't.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We'd love it for you to follow us on our socials at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
TikTok.
TikTok at the 80s Cinema Club on all of them. Please get in touch with us, whether that's through them socials or through our email at acinemaclub@gmail.com. Just talk to us about the films, recommend any films. Would you like a cameo in the podcast? I don't know, just
anything
Harry you want. We would like, yes. we want some interaction with you guys to know what we can do better. So it's not just as much as I love her mum commenting on our Facebook posts.
This is how highbrow of a podcast we are. Make sure you realise
I very much take in my mother's feedback, but I would like some other people's as well. Yeah, we'd love to do them. You're already listening to this on something, but you can get us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, now available on Amazon Music and Audible, things like Good Pods as well, Google Podcasts, most places you can find a podcast,
and on YouTube.
If you want us on somewhere else, like we put our podcasts on YouTube when people asked, if you want us on somewhere else, message us and we can, make it happen.
If you want it sent to you by carrier pigeon to some rural village in Cambodia, we could probably try.
If you want to pay for a CD of the Club podcast episode.
If we're going to make people pay for a CD.
Yeah, I'm not sending them, if they want it on CD, I'm not sending them for free. But it will be delivered by carrier pigeon.
We will ensure that.
So thank you for watching, and I'd just like to leave you with this message that Prince of Darkness has at the end of your credits. At the end of the credits.
Your credits.
Your credits.
End of your life.
At the end of the credits, if you ever wanted to watch the end of the credits, which I did because I'm boring. The characters and events depicted in this photo play are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
That's been the 8 Cinema Club on Prince of Darkness.
Goodbye.